Using is a thermal imaging camera. So you guys have probably seen these on your TV shows. Why would I want a thermal imaging camera inside of a ghost hunt? Come on guys, it's interactive.
Cold spots.
Right, exactly. So we're literally looking for cold spots. So you should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. So we're looking for blue and black spots to either start taking shape or to start moving on their own. So the cool thing about your video is that there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. It's showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So when you get your video back, it's kind of there to help you detect or kind of guide your eye a little bit, and it'll give you the temperature along with ambient temperature in the center crosshairs. So I have it set up that way on purpose, so that way you guys have a little bit of an assist. However, as great as this hardware is, this is a FLIR camera. This is what firemen use to actually save people. Like, this is not a phone app, so to speak. So I'm going to stop the video. Try not to touch the camera on that end. There you go. Okay. All right, let's go learn some real history. What do you think?
Yeah.
We're going to go this way.
Awesome.
Get away from football players and come. Got it. All on the right side.
Oh, this did something.
Oh, it beeped.
Does it beep the
Did it
flashlight?
give you a letter?
It didn't drop a letter.
It should have.
It just did a little beep and a... Okay.
I see.
Alright, so whenever that thing is, see, there's another little, there you go, you finally got a letter. Perfect. Alright, so welcome to a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. So, part of the reason why I gave him the spirit box is because it gives him something to listen to. Some of the history can get a little boring, a little long. So, that way you can kind of fill them in a little bit. So, this place used to be something, just so you know, obviously. This place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney mansion site. So their mansion actually sat in the front of this space where those cars are parked. Eliza's garden was lined up with the Five Church restaurant over there and came all the way across. And we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So, first off, for you Spirit Box communication device people, I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. So again, I'm going to withhold information on purpose so that way you guys have genuine experiences. So, who the heck were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. Do you guys see why we look for the secondary clues now? Yeah, we never know which Chuck we're talking to. However, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Do you have a number?
0.8.
0.8, okay.
0.8.
Yeah, 2.5 and higher.
2.5.
So, if I don't mention that Charles and Charles were signers of the Constitution, they usually do it for me in a very angry manner. So, again, I just usually bring it up ahead of time. We're going to be talking about Eliza anyway. Eliza had a much cooler story. Eliza married Charles at a young age, according to today's standards. If we're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, we're not going to get numbers like 12 and 14, like the colonial times that she came from. You're going to hear numbers according to today's standards. The reason I bring this up is because her husband, Charles, was over double her age when they married. Kind of a creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now. So, anyway, she married Charles because her father, who's over in England, where she's from, thought he was dying, and he's trying to bring all of his children home one last time. She didn't think he was dying, so she stayed put and got married. So, yeah, he didn't get married in 1744 for a green card. We're not even a country, so she did marry him out of love. And she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. That's what we use it for today. So, you guys have been in town, you've probably seen the word somewhere. When she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep them cultivated because it's obviously not hot here all the time. When she figured it out, she moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of her father, and told him the rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. So, we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. That's the boring business stuff. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are here. Series of questions that you guys can be asking on your spirit boxes. We're going to stick to 2 main focal points. First one being, the mansion's not here. So what happened to it and when did that happen? So again, very specific date that we're looking for. When we do hear the tragedy of what occurred to it, we will normally get 2 out of the 3 numbers of the date of when it actually occurred. So, and they're very specific digits. I don't know who Grayson is.
Okay.
Again, that app is meant to try to scare people, just so you know. Let's see. The other series of question is about Eliza's death. You can ask anything you want to. How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So we are going to be spreading out in this location. We're going to stay away from vehicles. I'm going to be basically bouncing around with you guys, kind of seeing what's going on with your devices, taking any notes that I need to, and like basically kind of going through the motions with you. 4?
3.6, and then it went to 4, now it's 0.2.
Perfect. So that's why they call it ghost hunting. They don't stand still.
Yep.
So I think with the breeziness, we're not even going to bother with the motion sensor tonight because it's going to be kicking up dirt from the parking lot. So at this point, I don't want to know anything below that 3.6.
6.9 out of 18.4, that's the wind.
18?
8.4 is not the wind. That is electrical current.
I got that for a second.
Nice. So
Okay.
the average spike for this location, I guess I should explain what these numbers actually mean. Let me put them in retrospect of something in your home. Put that device behind your TV, it reads about 40 to 60 milligauss, depending on how many devices you have plugged in. We just had an 18 where there's no electricity. So just putting that out there. Stand next to a microwave with that device that's running about 150 to 170 milligauss. Yeah, you're all looking up at the wiring and that kind of thing, but it's literally like right here where it's detecting it. So it was around her hand where she hasn't had a reading since. So the highest I've ever seen that device go has been in this location at 214 milligauss. We left. I'm just going to put that out there. Yeah, I have epilepsy. That's a neurological disorder, electricity in the air. Yeah, I'm not playing around. We left. So again, that's one of those instances where it's dangerous, and that's why I give the heated warnings at the top of every door. Definitely got something going on.
So milligauss electromagnetic fields?
Yes, so it's measured in 2 different units. So it could be milligauss or units of Tesla.
Okay.
Units of Tesla is like the standard version for us if you're thinking tools or metric system. And metric would be like, obviously the milligauss. The reason I use milligauss is because that's the same unit of measure that they use on the blinky light one that I showed you.
Okay.
That way we have a comparison.
Okay, cool.
So that way I can kind of see I don't have to convert anything, so to speak. They use
Got
the
it.
same unit of measure. I
Makes
have it
sense.
set that way on purpose.
Makes sense, okay.
So, all right. Let's kind of walk around a little bit. I am going to keep you behind you, just so I can show you a little bit more about that Ouija board. But find some hot spots. Turn your volume up, Gabriel. Let me know. I'll be with you in just a minute. Yeah, turn the volume up so you can hear it. All right.
Anything?
I had a 5.1 and a 5.3, like white.
Just holler if you see something and I'll make sure
I
I
will.
point towards you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Hear that? Oh, there's people over there. Hotspot in terms of what?
For this.
It keeps making them beeping noises.
Yeah.
You hit the button, you gotta restart the recording. And you can mess with the volume up and down like you want. So, you know, it's not gonna mess up the recording volume. So whatever those DJs are saying, I wanna know what the songs are singing, and I wanna know what the DJs are coming up with. No matter how silly you think it might be. So, give it a listen. Alright, Jason, with yours, so with the camera, I don't always like have a check it in real time kind of thing. It's just the slower the movements out of that guy, the much easier it is to find those colder spots.
Sure.
So for example, like if you point your camera to the left just a little bit, you should be able to see that stop sign off in the distance. Keep going to the left. But normally, like obviously the stop sign is metal, so it's going to hold onto the pole a little bit in a deeper degree. So
Sure.
that once you get closer to it, it'll look bluer or blacker, depending on, because it's set to white, hot, black mode. But again, with the camera in real time, I'm not always like following up because I do send this to YouTube, so you can watch it however you want to. What'd you hear?
Get out.
7.2.
Really?
Get out. Yep. Only because I was actually going to retire this location because of messages like that. So Jana, you getting anything on yours at all?
Not really. Space, pork, so you usually have
Yeah. We're going to give you another minute. Let's see if this continues. If you get anything else dark like that, please let me know. Because that, again, this was November and December are kind of like my experimental months where I normally like take out a location, add a location, kind of, and you know, because I get a lot of repeat people year after year. So obviously we're still in December, but this was one of the places I was trying to retire, but it is such a great hotspot that I didn't want to, but we just heard the words "get out" and we had a 7.2 spike at the same exact time.
Oh wow.
So again,
This is more sensitive. I know you just turned it up, but like right over there, it was going off a little bit more
Yeah,
than
just
it
say
was.
get out again.
get out.
Really?
Get out now.
Really?
I
Wow.
got
And
it
you say
in.
or you will die.
What was the last one?
It's say or you will die.
Or you will die. I don't know if it went that
At
far.
the end.
Let's give it a few more minutes and let's see what we can get out of it. Again, this is a very prominent industry. You don't really get messages like that unless somebody's being disrespectful. And we haven't been yet. So let's again. And you said you had a little bit more sensitivity over.
Well, over here now, it doesn't have any sound.
Okay. Any letters that you can make out? Looks like it's pretty full already. So yeah, looks like it's already gone. And you can always pocket something to operate the other back. Like you're not going to hurt anything. So. average for this space is 18 to 22 on a
Okay,
spike.
we got a 36. I can look at this again. Stop, it's definitely 36. Point one. It was right there. This is where the higher rate is.
Anything nutty on there, Jason?
The stump is surprisingly cold.
Is it?
The stump right there.
It's not alive.
It was surprisingly
dead.
cold. Yeah.
So,
But no, nothing else.
Is there anything to know that grandfather?
it's vague without a name or a year or
Yeah.
I saw his head above the
Oh, yeah,
wall.
yeah.
That was awesome.
And I have hand warmers in my pockets. That's why you guys keep seeing me like all huddled up. Like I have little tiny.
Oh, didn't notice. But those are cool. They're electric little hand warmer things, huh?
Yeah, and they act as
Oh,
power
nice.
banks, so if something dies, I could just plug it in.
Nice.
It doesn't normally happen, but because I charge everything before every tour. All right, Gabriel, you got anything?
Yeah.
All right.
That was big enough.
Come on in, Gina. Let's kind of go through the answers. So you can keep your volume up or down, so it's completely up to you. I am excited that we did get a 36, by the way. So remember that that's almost as much electricity as would be behind your television. So kind of put that in perspective, and that's in a space where there's no electricity. Let's go through the quick answers and kind of give you the gist. And again, with him hearing "get out," I was looking to retire this because we were getting those unwelcoming messages. And a lot of them were just like, leave us alone, please go away, you know, and, you know, they had to get out at the same time that they had a spike. So I'm not trying to poke the bear a little too hard here. You know, again, I still may retire this come January. I haven't made that decision yet. This is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. This is the woman that I was just talking about. I use her maiden name because there was a first wife named Eliza. She also had a maiden name that started with the letter L. At times, depending on which Eliza's with us, we'll get Lamb or Lucas that shows up on a spirit box. So, let's see. So, that was a cough, but thank you. So, this Eliza married Charles at the age of 22. He was 45. So, creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now, right? So, what happened to the mansion was this is after the fire damage of 1861. So this is the only photograph of the mansion that we actually have.
Wow.
Yeah, this is exactly where you're standing right now. At times when we do get fire, blaze, burning, anything relative to a fire, we will get the numbers 12 or 11 or 61, usually a combination of the two because that's the date that it occurred, 12, 11, 61. So very interesting, in fact, about that particular fire because every tour guide, by the way, is going to tell you about a great fire because it's Charleston and we've had dozens. However, the fire that took out the mansion, this is a map of Charleston. The orange is obviously the fire. It went from one side all the way to the other. You are standing on the green dot. If that tells you how big the fire was. So just imagine this entire basic, I mean, it was split right in half. I mean, just right down the middle. So $5 to $9 million worth of damage back then. So don't ask me what that equates to today, because inflation changed again this morning. As far as Eliza's death goes, she died at the age of 70. First off, that's a long time for a woman to be living in colonial times. She died in 1793. You can continue to record. When we leave this space, I'll kind of give you the cue to go ahead and stop it.
Okay.
So, just in case something actually weird actually goes on here. So, that was in 1793. She was going to Philadelphia getting treatments for whatever they thought she had. It turned out to be breast cancer. We didn't know what breast cancer was in 1793. going based off of her medical records. She died in Philadelphia. She's buried in Philadelphia. That should basically answer the question in the back of your brain: is if she's up there, what the heck are we doing down here? I don't take you to actual cemeteries, guys. The reason why? It's minimal activity. None of you are going to hang out near your grave when you're gone. You're going to go to your mansions 400 miles away, which is exactly why we come here. So, anybody want to take a guess at who the president was that was the pallbearer in 1793? Come on, history buffs, where are you? It's a good thing you can't answer. Let me explain.
Andrew Jackson.
It was Washington.
Oh.
At his own request, wanted to basically honor Eliza because of her indigo that helps get our country started.
Interesting.
So, the reason why I'm happy you couldn't answer is because when we got here, I told you I'm not going to give you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, subliminally putting George Washington in the back of all of your brains on purpose, and you all passed with a fail. Good job. So, again, when somebody spits out Washington the minute we part ways, I know that, okay, they're the ones that I got to watch what I say around them. So, because they're just going to repeat it right back to me. So, we didn't talk about the children because that's usually something that kind of pokes the bear at Eliza, but there were 4 of them. So, one of what pokes the bear is the tragedy. There was a baby that didn't make it. So, George, she had 3 sons and 1 daughter, by the way. So, baby George, the theory behind him is that he doesn't have a headstone or a grave. They would have mummified him and kept him right here in the home, waiting for her to pass away so he could be buried with her.
Oh, wow.
If you're listening, you know she's buried in Philadelphia, which means they would have transported him from here all the way to Philly by horse and carriage.
Yeesh.
Yeah, so kind of a weird, creepy thought to be thinking about. So, again, I'm excited about the readings that we had. Not so sure what's going to come up out of the spirit box because he only heard one phrase that he gave me. So hopefully I can capture more when I'm doing my spot checks in the morning. Where we're going from here, we're going to head over to Philadelphia Alley. So you were going to ask a question?
Was there a Peter? That's one of the children?
No.
No?
Okay. John, Paul, George, and Ringo. No, I'm kidding. So it was baby George, Thomas, Charles, and then Harriet were the names of the children. But we're going to head over to Philadelphia Alley. We're going to be cutting through that little alley over there to get there. You can ignore your readings along the way because of the parking meters. They make your device go off. You're going to stop your video. All right, Gabriel, did you hear anything? No. Okay. Yeah, it's not an easy task to do when you guys get your recording back from what he's listening to. You're going to realize it's really not an easy task. Like, I keep asking him, and he says, no, didn't really hear much. It's not easy.
Oh, no.
So, just so you know.
Yeah.
So, this is a space, too, where if we do get anything like above a 6 or a 7, we will get little spikes that are probably coming from some of the buildings around us. So, anything really above a 6 is what I'm looking for here.
Okay.
So welcome to Philadelphia Alley. This place, by the way, is a staple of all ghost tours, can't you tell? So we've got the whole alley to ourselves. But this is actually, I'll actually come over this way so that way I don't have to keep turning my head. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston.
Really?
So, yep, this used to be called Dueller's Alley.
Really?
Yeah, we all tell the story of one specific duel because we can prove that it happened. And I'm going to give you the same story but a little bit differently because you need more details because you're ghost hunting. Here's how it goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. She just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. Now, the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. And by the way, I don't think I gave you the full name of the doctor. Joseph Brown Ladd. Those 3 terms will show up here, from time to time, just so you know. But anyway, to prove that he's not just after Amanda's money, he comes to Charleston, and the coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston. So somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. His name was Ralph Isaacs. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island. That's exactly the reason why I have the Ouija board device now. We have been getting the initials from all of the spirit boxes that I use because I do have 5 different styles of spirit boxes, but the letters RI showing up here consecutively have happened since we've gotten the Ouija board. So it does occur. I know, seems uncanny, and yeah, it does happen.
I have an R.
Yeah.
We'll wait for that I.
I'm waiting.
Now, I just told you the letters R.I. from 2 different characters. We need a secondary clue so we know who it belongs to. One from the Doctor of Rhode Island or Ralph Isaac's actual initials. So, Ralph tells the Doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. He's like, you can stay with some friends of mine at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from there, and you'll be good to go. You'll be safe. 59 often shows up here as well on a spirit box, just so you guys know. Very specific number. Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer. They become friends. The longer the Doctor's here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not just after Amanda's money. So, he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor because Amanda's moving down soon so they can get married. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. It's a guarantee. I'll put my paycheck on it. Yes, I know. We actually have proof of this one, and I'm going to get to that. So, I actually been kicked out of here. I'm going to talk about that. That's the fun part of the story. So, where was I? Oh, Dr. Ladd and Ralph. I don't know who that is. Doesn't mean that he's not somebody. I tell him who he is. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the Doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's just the way the hierarchy works. They talk about these plays on the way home. They go see Richard III one night from Shakespeare. They're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph, not so much. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the Doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. Obviously, they go their separate ways. That's another tour probably cutting through the lot to come over this way. So they go their separate ways, but I told you Ralph has friends here. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the Doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society, sir. Dr. Ladd sees the ad and rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. So they come down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the Doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. Sorry, I'm just trying to see which direction we're going to go.
Sometimes people do this today.
Hello. Hello. I was just trying to see which direction you were headed. How's it going tonight, man?
Good, how are you?
Staying warm?
Yes, thank you. We're all Midwesterners.
Yes. We are. We are. So, he turned his gun in the air and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel. But Ralph had his one bullet. Who wants to take a guess where he put it?
Himself?
Nope. It's a good guess, though. I liked it. I haven't heard that one before. His kneecap.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of a... So he didn't kill his friend either, but he proved his point that he's still pretty angry.
Yeah.
Dr. Ladd drops to the ground. He didn't die, so his friends picked him up, carried him home to 59 Church Street, and he died 10 or 4 days later, depending on which version of the story you're reading. And he refused medical treatment while he was waiting for the lead poisoning to kill him. So he was a doctor. He probably tried to bleed out the lead poisoning himself, so kind of keep that in your mind. Couple of things about this. Every ghost tour, it's weird that he just cut through and didn't stop to tell the story. And I know he's a tour guide because I see him all the time. Just super weird.
That's weird.
And it's just weird at a party or two. But the other, what people do tell their guests to do is to listen for the whistles, because that's what you can hear while you're down here. Keep in mind, we're using a voice recorder already. So if you're going to go all the way through the alley, yeah, it's right here. It's just run by my phone. If you go all the way through, anybody else just see smoke?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the left.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it for sure.
Yeah.
It was like steam coming from the building.
Okay.
That's
That's what it looked like.
It
to
looked
me.
really weird. I don't think
Yeah,
I've
there
ever
it
seen
goes
that.
again.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, there it goes.
I know that there's a
Someone's taking a shower.
like a it's probably washing clothes over there because there's a costume shop part of the actor studio down there. So anyway, but yeah, turn on your voice recorders, listen for those whistles, but keep in mind everybody that is local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street on the other side throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We pass my garage because it's over there by the Scotchman, easy. So I have to pass the alley every single night. And ever since I got booted out of here, I always throw a whistle down the alley. Now what's cool is on Gabriel's Spirit Box, we will get songs with just parts of whistling in songs. Think of Guns N' Roses' Patience. Think of Maroon 5's Moves Like Jagger. These are songs that have just whistling in them, and we do receive them quite a bit in here, with other clues relative to Dr. Ladd. Here's how I got booted out. This is the fun part. This alley didn't always go all the way through to Cumberland Street. We actually stopped about halfway between where we're standing and Cumberland now. This is where they kept the livestock. That's why they had to keep them herded in, which means the bricks on that side are older. They are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There is a brick down there with a full handprint from a slave child and fingerprint swipes off to the left. Well, I used to go through all the way to this alley. But one night, November 26th of 2020, my entire group decided they're going to huddle around that one brick with the handprint and hopefully get a reading out of it. Well, I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. So I'm trying to scurry them along because it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We're not allowed in residential areas, and I was still new at this and I had no idea. So, of course, he came out screaming. My daughter was on the tour that night, thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgivings because I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. I'm never working another Thanksgiving ever. The next day after that was November 28th. I got a phone call asking me to go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do, or to reroute my group. I decided it wasn't fair for my groups of 10 to be working around 20 to 60 other people. I was going to reroute. What I told my group is I didn't believe in the story that we were about to go talk about, but we'll see what happens. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person, which that should clue you in. We're going to be discussing pirates. Before we left, somebody on a spirit box heard the name Anne. So I was like, oh man. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating the female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, all right, maybe we will get something. We get down there. I told what little bit I did know about piracy in the area. And then somebody else on a spirit box heard the number 300, and I didn't know what that meant in real time. I'm doing the research for them the next day. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720.
Jeez,
we were there
really?
on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I was like, damn it, now I got to learn about pirates. So I've read more books on pirates since that date, trying to piece together a factual investigation of the location based on pirate lore. It is difficult. So the worst case scenario, you're going to learn a lot about pirates that you never knew before. It is a hit or miss location because she is said to be seen all over town. So we either have a lot going on or nothing going on. So we're going to see what's actually going to happen once we get up there. Have you heard anything, Gabriel, sitting down there? Nothing? Man, that is a tough job. I might actually have to give a spirit box over to one of you guys too, just so we can have some more real-time notes. Have you gotten anything on your devices?
You started talking about Anne. Hung came up.
Of course it did. She was not hung, but her bow was.
Ah, interesting.
Very interesting. So we have a little bit of something. Anything else pop up on there?
Hail, drive car, Alexa, touch, and tear. Or tear.
No. Yeah, I got nothing on any of those besides hung. All right, let's go learn about pirates. Let's go up and around the corner. If you want to continue recording, you can. Completely up to you, but if you want to... just getting some opinion. This is something I'm looking to add to the equipment. Is I want to get a tablet set up with the SLS camera.
Oh boy. Yeah, the weird stick figure thing.
Yeah. So I'm just looking because I use an IR camera too that kind of uses IR lighting, which basically looks like this.
Okay.
So I'm thinking the green.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So that way all 3 videos, because when I have my full
Yeah.
groups of 10 to 11 people, everybody, you know what I mean? Every group has it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the camera right there. So it has.
Oh, this
some,
is my phone.
Oh, so it's just a filter that you're putting
Yeah.
on there just for.
Well, actually, it uses a technology to determine the distance. So, I mean, it picks up legitimate people. I mean, if you want to grab that and put me in
Really?
frame.
Oh yeah, no, I
You can
see
see
you
it?
already. Yeah, yeah, you're
So, I mean-
you're full-time stick figure.
I mean, it should be
Oh,
moving
yeah.
right with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Interesting.
it uses a different type of technology than the Kinect camera,
Okay.
which is what
The
the big
Xbox thing, yeah.
Yeah. So again, I need to read about it, and I want to try to put this on a tablet, just so
Yeah.
that because the tablet I think will be much different than that,
Sure.
and that kind of thing.
Sure, you get the nice like hand holster
Yep.
thing for it and everything.
Well, I found one that actually has like 2 rubber handles on the side,
Oh,
so
even
it's nice
better.
and comfortable.
Nice.
So,
Good call.
but yeah, it takes a lot of research for me to be able to add a piece of equipment.
Sure.
And getting a lot of feedback and that kind of thing. Like before I even added that thing to the tour, like I did a lot of questioning, like, hey, try this out for 30 minutes and let me see what you think. So that's kind of my new staple. Like that is, if it was just you and Gina here, she would have a spirit box that Gabriel's using, and you would have that.
Sure.
Like, that's what we would be running with, and I would run the word list on my own phone.
So what do you usually see with this? Just dark
I have full
areas?
figures walking towards me.
Serious. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I mean, that is not an every night catch, I'll be honest. But
Oh,
when we
yeah,
do,
of course.
it is a holy shit moment. Like, it's some really good stuff when you do capture it. And you can usually, like, see it full face. What do you got going on there, man? You got switched up a little bit?
Yeah, he's the best. We had a 4.2 right here. That's the lab.
Transient.
We'll do one more round, Ronald. Follow up with Gina here. Gina, you got anything? I mean, your stuff I don't have to write down unless it's coming from there.
Anything over 2.5.
You can use this if you want to.
Oh, we're good. Thank you so much.
Sure.
What do you got?
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah, those bushes can play a lot of tricks on us, just so you know. Even with the stick figure, the SLS camera, like, yeah, it plays a lot of tricks on us.
And that's not by a meter. Nope.
All right, you got any other numbers?
3.3.
Over where? By the bushes?
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably from the
That's
pressure.
part of the meter.
All right, let's head over to the wall because you don't have anything. I mean, the word pier showed up, and that could be very well a pirate. To the wall.
To the wall. Oh yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So, by the way, with the IR camera that I have, the best orb I've ever caught in any investigation was caught by a worm standing.
Oh,
It literally came behind me as I was demonstrating laser lights for motion and came up to my back and then literally went straight up intelligently. Like, oh crap, Nick's right there. And then went up. So the cool thing is, and I mean, this isn't our last stop, we still have one more to go. But tomorrow morning when you guys get your data back, at the top is a field guide link to know how to go through all of the media that I send you. And there are paranormal examples in there, and both of the major orbs that I've caught with that IR camera are going to be as examples. because the one is very large and the other one's pretty small, so that way you know what you're looking at. Dee's gonna give the spirit box a try. Yes. It's not easy. Alright, so Anne Bonny. One of the few pictures you can find of this woman, with a shirt on, by the way. The reason why is because she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. I told you she was a badass. So the names of her parents, William, Cormac, Mary, Brennan. Those were the names, William and Mary. So a lot of times it'll come through in the same sweep, because you have to imagine too, when I go up to 10 or 11 people, there's a lot of different types of spirit boxes that are at play. The only duplicate I have is the one that we're using tonight. Everything else runs a little bit differently. So again, the whole bag isn't just chock full of EMF meters in one type of spirit box. But William and Mary were the names of her parents. Calico Jack, let me show you what he looked like, because everybody wants to see what they base Johnny Depp off of. And you're going to laugh when you see him. Calico Jack was named that because of the jackets that he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. Jack's father was a tailor. Textiles were very important to them. Calico Jack, fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I don't necessarily expect the word Kingston to come through the spirit box, but the word king would actually suffice here. So even on your word list, if you were asking that question, I would take that as a legitimate answer. I will tell you, like, part of the reason why I give that heated warning at the top of the tour is partially because of this space. So a year ago, this past September, I brought my group to the back. As you can see, other tour groups are starting to come through. And the kid next to me was literally like going faint, like white as a ghost, about to drop. I had to pick him up by his armpit in order to stop him from hitting his head on the ground. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him, and we brought him over to this wall so he could sit down, get a bottle of water, and feel better. I then told them the story that I told you about Anne Bonny. This used to be my grand finale, by the way, where everybody spread out. I told everybody to go have fun with the last location, and they pull me aside and they say, Nick, we gotta tell you, we are two transgender males, meaning I had two females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story, on the tour. And it made complete sense as to why one of them about passed out the minute we got in here. So, he's got a laser.
Okay.
It's a super laser. Okay. So I use lasers for motion with the one camera, and I'm always very careful with the user because you have to point them at the ground. There's a laser law here in Charleston, so he can actually beacon an Air Force plane down if he wanted to with that thing. It's a lot brighter than mine, but mine is a grid. That's the difference. But yeah, that's part of the reason why I give that psychics and mediums normally don't make it through this with me, guys. Like they're down for the count after the Pinckney Mansion site. I can't tell you how many times I've had to call the paramedics.
Wow.
So, and that's why I was worried about Gabriel coming out of St. John's. He gets sick. I'm like, great, starting early.
Yeah.
So the next location is the location where I don't know everything. That's the fun part. It's very short. It's very brief. But you guys are going to be the one investigating for as long as we continue to get evidence out of that location. The cool thing is, untroubled in her faith, she waits, the triumph or the tomb. This is from a poem called Charleston, which means he's basically stating that the city has to wait to see if it's going to rise or fall based on the outcome of the civil war. Triumph or the tomb. So, we have gotten EMF spikes in here, Gabriel, of up over 100. So we are going to explore the space and see if we can get anything in the 50s or higher. Those are where I'm going to be expecting something to actually show up. Terms that have shown up here is the name of his wife, the name of his son, which I did not give you either of those. And the interesting thing is that his son's birthday is coming up. So kind of put that in the back of your brains. I'm hoping that we're going to get some activity based off of that. So I'm going to put the tablet away. Nice slow movements out of the thermal imaging camera. You're going to notice a lot of different temperatures in here, Jason. So D, let's get the thing cranked up so where you can listen. Most people just use one ear, by the way, just so we can be cognizant of our surroundings. And let's explore the space, and then we'll kind of see what kind of transpires out of this. And that is a square, right? The red you're recording?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm always checking, like when I'm always looking at your screen, I'm just making sure you're recording.
I started when you were reading from the tablet.
Gotcha. Do me a favor. Put your crosshairs on this little guy here in my hand and tell me what the temperature of it is.
This one's much hotter.
Okay.
But you're about 117, 18, 118.
Okay.
And that guy over there is about 10 degrees less-ish.
107?
Mm-hmm.
I guess the name of his wife?
No.
No?
Both names, by the way, are very, like, they're shortened, like, nicknames, but very formal names. So think of my name of Nicholas, think of, like, Nick or Nicky. So, again, it's going to be shortened.
Zero? They're asleep.
Come on, Henry. Let's do this.
This is great. Thank you so much.
Have you seen anything weird out here tonight?
No, not really. I haven't seen anything weird lately tonight. Have you?
No. Unfortunately.
No, I haven't seen anything. So what brings you to town?
Just a little vacation.
Yeah. Where you vacation from?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah. Nice spot. Atlanta, Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
How long are you in town for?
Till Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah, that's like just Christmas
Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ain't gonna stay for Christmas?
No, go back and do family stuff, you know.
And what kind of family stuff you usually do, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, nothing too much. Just, dinner and get together with the,
Hey, do you know of anything that's open this time of night?
Like in Atlanta?
No, I mean like, yeah.
Here, I don't know.
And,
Honestly, I don't even really go down to Atlanta too much. We live in the suburbs.
and
But you mean like restaurants and bars and stuff like around here?
Like restaurants.
I don't know, man. Honestly.
Yeah. What's your favorite restaurant in Atlanta?
Good question. Iberian Pig is it's like a Spanish tapas place. It's pretty nice. There's a couple of locations. They do a nice job. Yeah, Iberian. It's there's like some area in Spain where the pigs grow in the Iberian Peninsula, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm really hoping. Like, I'm wishing so hard.
Yeah.
But even still, it's cool.
Yeah. You know, you taking a picture of the statue?
Just looking for temperature.
Oh, temperature, yeah. Heat sensor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we'll see like dark shadows and figures on it.
Yeah, that's why heat sensor on the phone.
Right. Yes,
So-
exactly.
So I can pick up heat sensor no matter where it's at.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything that's warm. Anything at all.
Yeah.
Like those windows.
Yeah.
Those little this little round one on the right, especially.
Yeah. Actually, they got Christmas lights in there. It looks like Christmas lights.
What is that building? Do you know?
That is the I don't know the name of it, but I think that's the because this is like the Washington State Park right here. I don't know the name of that building. I've been in there a couple times, but I don't know the name of it. Hey, look here. Could you help me get a coffee?
I have no.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know the name of that building, but I know they got the flag flying high on the top. The flag, and they got the Palmetto flag, and we can see it through the bushes and the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, you have a good one.
You too, sir.
Take
Good
care
night.
of yourself. Good night.
Absolutely, you too.
Yeah, enjoy yourself.
I will try.
Was our friend, Jason.
Other side.
So you had a 6. And she's not getting any letters either, so that makes complete sense that he's not getting anything because they work off the same frequencies.
I was getting a little bit more over there, but over here it doesn't matter.
6, like that's measly for this location. I know that would be high somewhere else. But either way. Can I see the letters that are on there before we decide to wrap this up in there? Because there might be something hidden in there.
Oh, I see.
You see any heat sensors off of that?
Just the window up there in that house.
Yeah, that's private property over there.
It's quite warm though, I will say.
Yeah.
Very warm up there.
Got a lot of heat over there. I guess it's the hot bar and
Could be. Hmm.
OMG.
Anything weird coming out of you?
No.
Okay. We're gonna give her a minute to work with the temperature, and then we'll wrap this party up. And then we'll get you guys to your lift.
Here.
Okay.
This is
Unexpected, but thanks.
this is awesome.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
So you have to imagine how much I talk, right? I never know like how it's going with you guys until like the reviews start coming in. Yeah, the reviews are great. Yes. Right. This is how we've done this much with the gear, because I even asked him, I was like, have you ever done this with the, you know?
This is really
no.
cool. No, so very appreciative.
All right, let's go towards Gina.
You have your thing?
Yep. We'll go ahead and get this party wrapped up.
You're a young man. You have good estate. Your grandmother go partying on that.
All right, come on over, guys. All right, so the quick answers to, I already told, I think everybody that the son's birthday was on Christmas Eve, so December 24th is obviously a big deal. That's okay. The volume's up.
Turn it up. These are on.
Yep, those are yours. The name of the son was Willie, and the name of the wife was Katie. So just so you guys know what that looks like. Tomorrow morning when you guys get all your data back, there's going to be a couple of things at the top of your data page. First thing is going to be the link, so that way you guys actually have some help like going through all of the media. And then of course all of the media will be below it, separated by what I found during this project. So again, that is all going to be, and your data stays on my website for an entire year. So if you want to go back and look at another page, if I have the toilet page, the data will be there. I also keep track of moon phases, how many people are here, the equipment we use, the whole 9 yards. So just because Jason has a ton of questions all the time, I did start a